Guys, Mush back at it with another video covering the Steam Winter Sale. Didn't know what to title this one, so we're literally just gonna title it games that are still kind of expensive, because yes, these games are still in fact kind of expensive, over $15, but I still think they're pretty good deals. At this point, I am noticing, because I planned a couple of other videos, there is some crossover with the deals. Like, would you guys prefer, just as a quick question, next time when I cover these sales, would you just like one lengthy video covering everything? It would probably be like, 30 to 40 minutes long, but if you guys could like sit through it, we could put timestamps and things like that. I think that might actually be more effective. But let me know in the comment section down below. Let's get into the deals for now. Spyro Reignited Trilogy, 50% off for $19.99. This is all three of the Spyro games that were released on the PlayStation 1 remade. Looks great in HD. I know this was a part of a Humble Monthly way back in the day, but if you didn't get it, you didn't get it. Press F to pay respects, for the people that didn't get it. It was Spyro, Crash, and Call of Duty World War II, literally the most insane bundle ever. But Reignited Trilogy is still worthwhile for $20. Spyro holds a near and dear place in my heart. It's one of those franchises that I grew up with. Obviously, the Crash Insane Trilogy is also on sale. That's $20 as well. Go check that out if you would prefer to play Crash, but Spyro is more of my jam. Next up, we have a NieR Automata, which is 50% off for $19.99 for the Game of the Yorha edition. NieR Automata is a fantastic action JRPG. It's a game that you can get quite a bit of playtime out of, because you do need to beat it a couple times. Music is great. Combat is done by Platinum Games, so if you're familiar with their games, high-octane, fast-paced, action-oriented gameplay. Story's kind of confusing at first, but it does start to come together by the end. So definitely a good shout at $19.99. Another game at just under $20, $19.79, Ace Combat 7 Skies Unknown. Look, if you want a fun action flight game, not of the sim kind, very much action-oriented, arcade-oriented, then Ace Combat 7 is pretty good. Has a decent little story in there as well, but you're playing this for the gameplay, you're playing it for the music, and everything like that. Ace Combat 7 actually has some tremendous music, some songs that I personally literally have on my phone, so yeah, we're talking music at that level. Pretty solid at $19.79. Go give that a look. Next up, Control Ultimate Edition is 50% off for $19.99. This includes Control as well as the DLC content. I've talked pretty highly about Control. In my opinion, it is the best game that Remedy has put out, but I will tell you guys, one of my boys memes on me constantly for having that opinion. Nevertheless, I thought the game was really good. I thought the visuals were great. I thought the gameplay was the best from a Remedy title, and the story was, as you would expect, pretty interesting from a Remedy standpoint. $20 for all that content, I think, is pretty good, so do give that a look. Again, with the DLC, I think it's a pretty good pickup. Next up, Final Fantasy 15 Windows Edition is 50% off for $17.49. I can talk a lot about this. By the way, this does have a demo available for the PC version, so you can check that out to see how the game runs. I could talk about FF15 for a long time. This is a game that I initially played on PlayStation 4, got it not even day one, I got it a little ahead of release, and yeah, I was pretty disappointed by it from the standpoint of I was expecting a really, really compelling narrative. However, this Windows Edition has a lot of additional content. It has the episode, the side stories, which you can say they're side stories, but they do really flesh out some of the other characters. And then you have the Royal Edition content as well. And then if you go into the game with tempered expectations, you can enjoy it as a fun, action-oriented open-world title. There's a good bit of content there. Visuals are obviously stunning. You do need a pretty good PC if you do want to play it, like cranked up max settings, but runs relatively well. Just download the demo, because I've heard varying things. For me personally, the game worked super, super smoothly, and I had a good time with it. But for other people, I've heard mixed things. So just play it for yourself, see how it runs, and then you can make a decision on whether or not you want to pick it up. Another JRPG, that's 3 in a row. I didn't even notice that. Persona 4 Golden, a 20% off for $15.99. Yes, it's not a steep discount, but Persona 4 is a tremendous game. I don't know if Atlas is ever going to give us Persona 5, but Persona 4 is damn good as well. Some people actually like Persona 4 more than Persona 5. I found that to be a little bit surprising, but a lot of people told me that, so it's really good. And at $16, while it's not a deep, deep discount, I do still think it's a pretty good cop. Next up, Resident Evil 2 is down to $16. That is 60% off. Resident Evil 2 is the better of the Resident Evil remakes. It's a really, really true-to-form remake of Resident Evil 2. They do a really good job of making a modern experience while also harkening back to old elements. So if you played it back in the day, you'll get a kick out of it, but if not, if you just go into it standalone, it's going to be a great experience. Check it out. Definitely a better pickup than RE3. While I wouldn't say RE3 is a bad game, it's not quite at this level. And we do have rumblings of an RE4 remake in 2022, I believe. So, yeah, hopefully that does come to fruition. Next up, this is a personal pick of mine. I don't know how many of you guys are super into musical rhythm games, but I have become a big fan of DJMAX Respect this year. I got super into it when quarantine first began, and I've been having a great time with it. This is a game I can just jump in all the time and get a kick out of. The music selection is very good. You've got like Japanese songs on there. You've got EDM. You've got a lot of variety in the music offered in it, and I believe they've added some new content. I haven't jumped into it super recently, but I gotta go back and play some more of this. I'm not great at it, but it's a game that I can literally play for hours, and I can still have a kick out of it, and, you know, you can play with lower difficulties, whatever you want to do, and the game is relatively easy at, like, the easiest difficulty, but then you can ramp it up. Quite a bit of songs to go through, and I've seen some people that are killer at this game, and it is insane the combos that they can actually pull off, and the stuff that they can do if you get, like, really good. I'm nowhere near at that level, but at $17.49, I think it's a pretty solid pickup, and I would recommend it. Next up, we have Dying Light Enhanced Edition. That is 70% off for $17.99. Dying Light is one of those games that I feel like has gotten a little bit lost in the shuffle. It's a really good open-world action-adventure title made by Techland. Of course, Dying Light 2 is in development. We'll see how that turns out. But Dying Light 1, a great game as well to showcase a PC. The PC version is fantastic on this. Gameplay is good. I wouldn't really go into it expecting like this, brutal survival horror game, so to speak. But as an action-adventure open-world title, I do think it's quite good. What is it? At $17.99, it's a pretty good price with all the content that you're getting. You're getting the following content, you're getting the season pass, you're getting all that good stuff, so do give that a look. Lastly, Divinity Original Sin 2 is 60% off for $17.99. Look, this is where my opinion differs a little bit from the majority opinion. Most people think this is like the greatest RPG of all time. I don't go that far. I do think it's a very good RPG, but literally take the opinion of everyone else over me. It just might not be, completely my cup of tea, but let me say, I still think it's a very good game, but literally all my friends, best RPG of all time, and you can see the Steam reception, overwhelmingly positive. What's it got on Metacritic? A 93 on Metacritic, yeah, so take that opinion over mine in this case, and if you have a couple of friends to play Original Sin 2 with, you're going to enjoy it even more. Larian Studios obviously does really great work. And this is one RPG that you guys can get a lot of hours out of, so I wanted to give that a shout as well, especially because $17.99 seems like a pretty good price, all things considered. You can get the Divine Edition, has some additional content, I should say more so, digital art books, maps, soundtrack, and art pack, and then there is the Eternal Edition if you do want to check that out for a little bit more. But the base game at $17.99 I think is quite good. But that's going to wrap up this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll leave links to everything in the description box below. There's just a lot of games to recommend, like, even at this price threshold. I didn't mention Doom Eternal, I didn't mention Metro Exodus. There's a lot of games to pick from. So really, it does become a little bit hard to cover absolutely everything, but I thought this was a collection of 10 pretty solid recommendations. So that's going to wrap up this one. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.